As a lot of the Pokemon in Pokemon Sword and Shield have some notable traits many people have been mentioning, I thought we'd look at 10 Pokemon that were mentioned the most as missing from my last list and go over what we discussed. Well, not really we. It's kind of just everyone else there discussing it, and me just sitting, reading, getting roasted. But there were some described as pretty good pickups to battle with in Sword and Shield. So if I see one more comment that says, what about this Pokemon, and where's someone specific, or how come this one's missing, I'm just gonna heart your comment because you know what, you're probably right. Sure, even Hatcham. Well, let's get into it as we look at 10 more overpowered Pokemon in Pokemon Sword and Shield who are probably more accurate and see what we can make out of them. Hope you enjoy. Number 10, Sirfetchd. Starting us off with a new bird on the block and Sirfetchd, the League hero. With its high attack and green baton, it's ready to charge into battle. It does have a nice ability with Scrappy, allowing it to hit ghost types with its normal and fighting type moves, as well as blocking Intimidate, which is a nice feature. It does suffer from a bit of a hit in the low speed department compared to the rest of the pack, and is mostly there to swing in some heavy hits when it can. You could be a truest to Sirfetchd and give it its leak just to bank on the crit chance, but it's probably more of a banded or scarfed up Pokemon. Even though it could be hard to just tear it away from its beloved held item. Almost brings a tear to my eye. The best moves for our bird pal looks to be the staple high damaging moves it can learn over any utility ones. Poison Jab, Leaf Blade to get some crits and make up for the lost leak, First Impression, which is nice but will take a bit of finesse with it only being able to be used on the first turn you enter in your bird, Close Combat because you'll probably be dead if you don't all in anyway, so who needs the defense, and then moves like Knockoff could get some nice usage. You probably need to find some ways to lead into your Sirfetchd to give it an advantageous matchup more so than some other power fiends, and while it does have Swords Dance, you might just want to rely on the bonuses from choice items to go in for those hits or knocking off items rather than just trying to set up. Pretty solidly requested Pokemon to be added, and is up there as an option, as well as probably being the highest chance 8th generation fighting type to work into being viable. Farfetch'd really stepping things up. Number 9, IceQ. Had to add this one in. I mean, it's grown on me. I see it as a Pokemon that gets made fun of a lot, but after a bit, the ability on its own does make for a grand old time, both as a way of making this Pokemon unique out of battle, as well as in battle. And you know, after that many question marks for IceQ, it just had to have its own video. This guy does take a bit of battle prefacing to get into the right spots, but it's a pretty sick sweeper if you can manage some positional advantages. Or like they just start with the physical attacker and they have nothing fast enough to take out your belly-drumming penguin. Its Ice Face ability protects it from physical attacks, so if it's hit by one, it won't take any damage. It can swap over to its much rounder face and show its true colors while racing in with its boosted speed stats and juicy one-shots after it taps its stomach. It does have an added feature where you're able to use Hail to bring back the original Ice Face and protect yourself against another physical attack. So clearly if you lock someone in with only physical attacks, and you can outspeed them to continually set up Hails and refresh your mask, you just have to do that over and over again. Or just take them out. Yeah, don't do that first one, that's actually BM. IceQ does have a limited amount of types of attacks to choose from. Not too rocky, but you have some choices to be added between Iron Head, Zen Headbutt, and Liquidation, alongside your standard Icicle Crash as a must-have move for this penguin. All of which are decent on their own. It's a nice physical fighter with high potential, however a few setbacks with its dependency on physical fights, but still does deserve the spot on this list, even if the appearance of IceQ outside of battles may make people think it sucks and is not even a real Pokemon. Some may even say I suck. You know, maybe that does sound a little bit different from what I meant to say. Number 8, Drak Assault. Gotta hand it to Pokemon, there's always a nice selection of electric types to choose from. Even this. But it's a good choice battle-wise, so it's got that going for it. You do get the added bonus of another signature move with Bolt Beak doubling in power if it goes first, which is a ton of damage, and is actually even more damage than Dracofish's Strong Jaw Fish's Rend, seeing as Drak Assault has an added 10 base attack with its 100 to Dracofish's 90. That's all included with the bonus damage from Hustle. Unless the decrease in accuracy just makes that a flat 0, then there was really never a chance to even have these two power levels argued. Looks to be a good fighting build for Drak Assault here. It's a ferocious beast that you'll be looking into boosting its speed and attack for some signature Bolt Beaks, along with possible choices like Dragon Claws and Earthquakes, maybe some substitutes. I don't know if you want to risk Iron Tail here with Hustle, but hey, it's already down 25%, what's another added reduction to accuracy? It's probably one of the Pokemon with some variety of the moves you can choose from for the other two slots after your standard overpowered moves that were previously mentioned, but overall looks to be a strong contender and might be able to gather some wins as its main hustle. Number 7, Barracuda. You know, I wasn't confident enough to put Barracuda on my last list, but this is the time. This is the time we replace Barracuda with Eviolite Stomp. Alright, Barracuda. It's fast, it's fun, possibly a bit more reliable than IceQ in my eyes with the speed and attack surfing out the gates from the get-go, but we'll see. You've got your crazy high speed and well-equipped physical attacks, so after that with the added bonus of Swift Swim, and multiple ways to just drench the stadium in rain, you can probably just go full choice band Adamant Physical Fish. Your move choices from there are pretty set in stone. Liquidation, Psychic Fangs, Close Combat, Crunch, maybe Poison Jab or Ice Fang, or even Aqua Jet if you need to get in a priority hit just for the sake of calming the worry. It's a pretty straightforward Pokemon, and it looks to be one of the new aquatic 2-stage Pokemon that might see more play than previous installments in the Aquarian collection of Pokemon. I hope it does well at the very least. I'm rooting for the trouncing trout. I don't think it's a trout. Number 6. Toxicity. Nothing like getting to add Toxicity onto a list to give a warm welcome to the countless Toxicity fans out there. Toxicity definitely brings a nice little vibe to some competitive battles. The low-key version has the better natures for this one with Timid and Modest. However, you can also tweak your Amform Toxicity with some mints to supplement the better stat spread. I mean, the only moves you really want from its level up is Boom Burst with that sweet 140 power on a normal type move without the need for recharge, as well as getting an additional 30% with the Punk Rock ability, as well as Overdrive, which is also nicely catered into the sound category for the Punk Rock base boost. Both forms do learn these moves on level up, so the choices after that are basically more special attacks. Gotta ride that Sludge Wave into the crowd, and then you can probably add another special attacking move with Volt Switch, and plop on some choice items to suit your range of full-on I'll be making the choices here setup. If you don't really like the choice items, seeing as you can't even equip your own band to this rocker, but still want to adhere to the rockstar vibe this Pokemon gives off, you can always go with some Attract and Thunder Waves. But Toxicity looks to really set the sights for some heavy damaging special moves and some added noise complaints. Number 5. Grimmsnarl. You've got Dark, you've got Fairy, you put them together, you get, well, apparently a lot of hair. This one definitely seems like your counter for dragons. If Grimmsnarl was in Season 4 of Yu-Gi-Oh! It would have been called Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 4 Just Let the Dragons Keep Sleeping, Don't Wake Them Up. This is probably one of the more outlandish builds you'll have where it just won't be a priority on power. Grimmsnarl does have some nice abilities. You can see the items, possibly steal the items, or Prankster where all your status moves have their priority increased by 1, so that's a definite side to add some status to this Pokemon. For attacking moves, you'll be on the physical side with its nice 120 base attack, and can most likely add in its evolution fairy move with Spirit Break for the good damage it provides, as well as dropping the opponent's special attack for a little added bonus. If you want to go full medieval sounding novel literature moveset, you can get Darkest Lariat in as well, to have some nice dark attacks in the mix. I think the best thing to add to this could be a bulk up setup, but aside from that you don't really have too many things to take advantage of Prankster. Aside from walls and trying to play the long haul, which honestly might be pretty good with Grimmsnarl, as it does have a lot of defensive capabilities against certain matchups and can force out a few switches. Pretty versatile Pokemon that could be a good hybrid between defensive and offensive options, so many things to consider with the moves available. Number 4. Hatterene. Why not get in the one who's good with Trick Room, but also has Trick Room with Hatterene? You even get a nice magic bounce, reminding me of good old Gen 5 Espeon days when you'd switch in and rocks would go flying everywhere except on your side. It does look like a fun new addition to a Trick Room team. It doesn't fall too far behind Corsola with its high special attack. I'm thinking Trick Room is the only status move you want in it, although it does have some other good ones like Calm Mind, which is a nice addition and boosted special defense. Not defense, because I might have mistook it for a second and didn't catch that. Aromatherapy is good, but can be a bit of a 50-50 if you want to pick it. So I'm more likely to go with some special attacking moves like your typical Psychic and Dazzling Glebe to take advantage of its typings, and then probably Mythical Fire for both the damaging type coverage and the stat drop as well. You can definitely find some neat builds with this one, as it does have some fairly defensive stats, but that 29 speed is going to need a few tricks to enhance Hatterene's capabilities. Number 3. All of them. Just throw all the Pokemon in here, every single one. We're not missing any this time. Indeedee might as well be called its Dun-Dun, whether that's for you or the other person, it's subjective. Somehow Galarian Ponyta with Eviolite is going to be at the top of the charts out of nowhere for no reason because of a bug that'll never be patched, even in the new games, Sword +2 attack and Shield +2 armor. Rillaboom, well, he's already decent on his own. Pincurchin's spikes are going to be Poisonous RL, so you'll win by default. And not just Gen 8 Pokemon too, all 400 of them. Just put every single one in this category. The rest too, even the 500 cut Pokemon. They'll be broken, maybe not in the game, but in spirit. Haxorus, Galarian Mr. Mime, Meowth, Meowth again, Agumon. No one's being left off this list. So pretty much Ditto is number 3. I mean, it's basically a Gen 8 Pokemon, 20% of the time. Number 2, Dermatend. Just gonna let this one slide right into the number 2 spot as a reboot for the last section where I focused on the Zen mode over Darmanitan's insane new ability with Guerrilla Tactics. I mean, when you're thinking of battles, sometimes you just get a little too zoned in on trying to overcome them with that inner Zen, and don't properly look at the tactics being used. Or you're me and the Fire Ice type looks really cool, so you went with that and accidentally blocked everything out. But Dermatend does have a new ability to really raise the bar of power with Guerrilla Tactics, adding in as a new ability choice band to increase your attack without the item. It even limits you to only using the first move you used until you swap, so it's the same stipulations. Stats-wise, it's always about that attack and speed. However, move-wise, it's all about that attack and cheese. The most powerful moves to use are Icicle Crash for the nighttime, which is about as many flinches as you'll get in a row, probably U-Turn if needed, Flare Blitz, and then everyone's favorite move, Encore. Or Earthquake, I guess. Even though everyone claps when Encore is just used. Those look to be the best moves. Stone Edge is also available, well really only 80% of the time, or like 30 for me, and then after that looks to be Superpower like the good old days. But Dermatend is a pretty heavy hitter for this generation, and could trade some hits with any new upcoming talent after its newly engraved form change. I would go with the first 4 moves mentioned, but after that you really just have to choose between whether you want to stack on another band for double the bonus, or just go with the Scarf since regardless of your choice, Guerrilla Tactics will lock you onto one move. It's a pretty neat upgrade from the old Dermatend, and even keeps that inner fire. Number 1. Corsola. I mean, this has to be the most talked about Pokemon, and highly asked for on the previous list. Glaring Corso with a little Eviolite thanks to this new evolution, which technically does make Corsola overpowered, in its own way, like a helpful coach, but not actually a player. Has some insanely defensive capabilities, along with its boosted defense and special defense. You could even get some added tankage with moves like Strength Sap, which will restore the HP by the same amount as the target's attack stat, while lowering that attack stat as well. I think the only problem would be if you use it too much, Glaring Corsola gets enough nutrients to become a regular Corsola instead, but it doesn't work like that, so I guess that's not really a worry. It's a pretty heavy status inflicted with its Curse Body, as well as multiple moves like Will-O-Wisp and Stealth Rocks, which will go very well against teethering away against opponents who can't deal with this monstrosity. I mean, if you want to go full heal here, it can even learn Recover, so 2 heals for the price of, well, 2 move slots. But other than that, you can get Nightshade, since most of your trading in nature will go into its defensive stats rather than its offense. It's a real frustration to deal with, and does need you to be rather prepared for its existence if you go up against one with the constant barrage of burns and perish traps. Glaring Corsola is a unique one for sure. I might honestly be teetering on the side of a few complaints, but the little ghostly spirit comes back with a vengeance to haunt the new scene. Well, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this look at the 10 overpowered Pokemon who were asked for a lot, and hope you enjoyed this look at them. Let me know your favorite overpowered Pokemon, even if it's not from Gen 8, and please make sure to check out any of the videos shown here. And thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate you all, and until next time, see you then.